Hi there, beautiful people. It is so good to see you guys today. I am Melissa. Welcome to my channel. Today I am talking about loneliness and grief. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about today. And let me grab my notes for you guys real quick. I'm going to jump right in just like I do, friends. So forgive me. Grief just kind of does that. It's such an uncomfortable subject, I think, that it's just like there's really not an awesome introduction to it, is there? But, my last video, I was just talking about fear and how fear is a natural part of grief. And so is loneliness for teenagers. And a lot of teenagers feel inside of themselves, nobody gets it. Nobody gets it. Nobody gets my loneliness. Fear can be powerful, and how we process and deal with it matters. And, several of my videos, I was just basically at the end talking about, we just really need to acknowledge it, identify it, and then release it. Acknowledge my fears, acknowledge what I'm feeling. So we're trying to help our teenagers with that, even to be able to acknowledge that they're feeling lonely, identifying it and then releasing it. And a lot of times in grief, we release it just kind of differently. But it's just the way it goes in grief, and as I'm watching our teenagers growing up a little bit more and more, it's beginning to dawn on me how important it is for them to have healthy ways to release all of these emotions that they are carrying around as teenagers, as grieving siblings. So, one of our greatest fears for teenagers and for humans is being utterly alone, rejected, left behind. Yeah, it is, isn't it? Few people are prepared for the loneliness that comes with death after a loss. Just so very few of us are prepared for how deep this lonely feeling is within inside of us. I have some few thoughts from some grieving teenagers, like my other videos. So some thoughts that kind of go through their heart, from the grieving teenager's heart. One thought is, nobody gets it. You're dead, gone, not here. Life is different now. I feel different. The whole world is different. But everyone goes along like nothing much happened. People go to work, school, shopping, and church. People text, play, date, kiss, hang out, and eat just like before. That's from a grieving teenager. That's what they are observing. Another thought is, sorry, I can't. Another thought, I have dreams. I can barely eat. I'm nervous. I'm sad, then mad, then sad again. I'm terrified of what else might happen. Another thought, people watch me. What are they thinking? Poor girl. I hope she gets over this. I wish she would get a clue and get on with her life. She's such a downer right now. Being around her is depressing. Here comes Miss Doom and Gloom. At least that's what I imagine they're thinking. Gosh, so as a teenager, they're thinking those things and wondering. It's really not until we're much later in adult life do we really truly grasp that 75% of what we think someone else is thinking or perceiving about us, it's inaccurate. Another thought is, maybe they want to help. Maybe they feel for me. I know they're all for me to feel better. Heck, I would like to feel better. Another thought, better. What's that? What should it be? Happy? That's impossible. Am I just to forget you? Stuff you in a mental drawer somewhere and go on? Another thought is, It's not like I have an emotional off switch. People say such dumb things, even my friends. It's okay, really. Smile, girl. Life goes on. Yeah, and it hurts, is what she's thinking. Another thought is they'll say, I'm here for you. Really? Then where are you? A lot of us adults feel that way in grief. So many of us. That's like some of the first things we kind of begin to say to each other when we're meeting and talking as grievers and developing a friendship. You know, we're like, wow, we're just so surprised how many friends are gone. How many friends were there in the beginning and gone now, or not there at all. And the teenagers notice it too. And teenagers change friends pretty frequently, you know, especially between ages of 12 and 16, 17, and 18. So, you know, they run into new groups of people who have no idea that they have lost their brother and sister to a traumatic death, to murder. And then the friends that do know, it's awkward. It's awkward for these teenagers. Their friends just overall don't even talk about it. You know, people are pulling away and disappearing. It's like I have some kind of disease. This isn't fair. People don't get it. Maybe they can't. Maybe I'm the problem. I don't know. Another thought is, I feel alone. I am alone. Another thought, I hate this. I've never thought of myself as a loner, but I feel like one now. People are different. Or maybe it's me. Yeah, there's probably something wrong with me. This sucks. I could swear everybody looks at me differently now, like they're afraid of me or something. Some see me that act like they didn't. They turn and walk the other way. I get it, sort of. They don't know what to say or what to do. Why do they feel like they have to say or do anything? After all, you guys are dead. It's done. No one and nothing can bring you guys back. I have to suck it up and go along somehow. That's just the way it is. I'm trying. I feel the pressure to hold it together and keep performing. Put on a good face. Stay tough. Don't show weakness. Be a man. Handle it. Yeah. From a teenage boy's grieving heart. I feel like a circus animal. Another thought is, where is this pressure coming from? From others? From inside me? Does it matter? Does anything matter anymore? Another thought is, man, I feel so alone. Another thought is, my life is gone. Hanging out, driving, studying, working. Everything is different. Everything. Another thought is, you die. You leave. Now everyone else leaves, one by one. And if I don't play the game, I get left behind. Another thought, nobody gets it. Fine. I can walk this road alone. No problem. I'll go on and pretend that all this never happened and you never existed. Sure, right. You know, grief is a lonely road, friends. It's so lonely. It's a lonely road. You know, by its very nature, grief is lonely. You know, by its very nature, it's lonely. We've lost Noah and Sophia. They're very special to us. You know, we had a unique, one-of-a-kind relationship with Noah and Sophia. Our teenagers, Elijah and Hannah, had a unique, one-of-a-kind relationship with Noah and Sophia. And they did with Malik as well. And it was our relationship and no one else's. Other people, of course, knew Noah and Sophia and knew Malik, and they had their own friends, and then that was their unique, one-of-a-kind relationship with that friend, that teacher. that other relative, that cousin, that grandma, that grandpa, that aunt, that uncle. And as their mother, I had my own one-of-a-kind, unique, special relationship with Noah and Sophia and Malik, and so did their dad. And so did these teenagers, you know? And so, you know, no two people are completely identical, and no relationship is the same. So as a result, no person can truthfully say to one another, I know how you feel. No, they don't. They are not you. It was not their relationship. And many can sympathize, and a few might even empathize, especially if they're walking this identical road of loss of their child or loss of their brother or sister. You know, but no one can fully understand where you are and what you are experiencing. No other human except Christ, who's not human, but you know what I mean? Like no other one, it's just not gonna be very helpful. So, you know, like I said, we have people that, you know, people empathize, some few will empathize, and yes, but it's our relationship. It's our unique relationship. So the loss is unique to us, and it's very unique to Elijah and Hannah. You know, it's your mind, your heart, and your life. It was your relationship and your loss. Your grief, like you, is one of a kind and unique. Yeah, it really is, friends, you know? And so yes, grief is lonely. By its very nature, it's lonely. It is. You know, each loss is uncharted territory. We haven't been there before. We didn't get a roadmap for this. I didn't have a roadmap to give my teenagers. My husband didn't have one to give us. You know, and even if you had other losses in the past, yet this loss is different because this person and this relationship with them is unique. Every loss is unique. Every relationship is unique. So there's like a uniqueness within that relationship that really just only you miss. Yeah, you know, you miss that special thing about that person that really only you as their mother got to experience, or their father or their brother or their sister, and they're gone. And so it's very lonely. You know, strictly speaking, we've never been here before. So, you know, the terrain is different. It's different for our teenagers. We don't know what will happen around the bend. Like I said in my last video, life is just very less predictable now. Very much so, you know, and the same is true for our teenagers. You know, loss tends to isolate them emotionally. It does. And they've been hit, and their immediate reflex is to hunker down, withdrawal, or even to hide to protect themselves. Yeah, and it's not just only teenagers that do that, is it? A lot of us adults do that, right? That is our immediate reflex, to hunker down, withdrawal, or we're just hiding from ourselves. So, you know, perhaps these teenagers, they sense themselves and their relationships changing. We all are able to kind of sense that, aren't we? We sense when change is on the horizon, and especially when it's more of a dreadful change. And some people come close, you know, but while others that we've counted on, they have distanced themselves. And some people I know our teenagers counted on have distanced themselves from our family and from them. All of this could add up, and does add up, to a deep sense of loneliness. It does, friends. I'm alone. Teenagers think it's me against the world. That's what they tell themselves. You know, teens are already leery of loneliness, right? They are. And they often fill their lives with noise and activity to try to drown it out, don't they? And someone they love, two people they love most intimately, their little brother and sister, is missing. And their oldest brother, who they love dearly, is missing. That's lonely. And Malik being in prison for 96 years is a lonely, lonely feeling for us, and yeah, for Malik too, but how much more so though, Noah and Sophia. It's lonely. And I know my husband at times feels lonely, and Malik stabbed him in the neck. And my husband has done physical therapy and he's had to heal, and it's his healing, it's his wound. And I can sympathize, but I'm not able to empathize. I have not been stabbed in my neck. So, and I know my husband feels very lonely in this trauma, and none of his friends can understand. I mean, who can come alongside my husband and talk to him about being stabbed in the neck and surviving? And not only that, but the cherry on top, to be stabbed by your own son. It's a lonely road, friends. A lonely road for each of us in our household. Yeah. But the Lord Jesus has been whispering to my heart, whispering, he's like a little cheerleader in my heart. You can make a difference. Those, what are they, 5 words? Yeah. You can make a difference. So can you, friends. So can you. We just have to acknowledge the fact that grief is lonely. Let's just acknowledge that, okay? And that's not a bad thing, but that's what it is, and wounded, hurting hearts often feel more isolated and alone. Let's just remember that. These teenagers have wounded hearts. They're hurting, so they're going to feel more isolated and alone. And yeah, I think this is very natural and common for teenagers in loss and grief. I need to be aware as their mother that they are struggling routinely with loneliness, and death often will deepen their sense of isolation. So like I said, as teenagers, we're already struggling and dealing with the feelings of loneliness. We want to fit in, we want to belong. So the death of their brother and sister has deepened that sense of isolation, isolating them even more from their peers. It does. And that's natural. That's a natural feeling, and I believe that's common too among many teenagers who are grieving. Teens are hyper aware of potential rejection. Their life is about belonging. Like I said, loneliness can be truly terrifying. Yeah. Thirdly, let's accept that it's beyond your power. It's beyond my power to make this teenager feel better. Yeah. It's not my job to convince them that they're not alone. I won't be able to. You won't be able to. They must walk through their grief and pain and come to this conclusion themselves. Yeah. And I hate that greatly, that they even have this grief journey and that they have to carry this loneliness feeling with them, because grief is lonely. My goal is not to help them feel better, but to love them where they are, as they are. Just love them where they are and as they are. And I trust and I give this loneliness to God. And I believe that God is with them in every step, every breath they take. And the Lord is very well aware of how lonely my teenagers feel at times and how isolated they may feel at times. And for my husband and I. Yeah. Trusting Him, because He promises He will heal wounded hearts and broken hearts. And He promises that He will feel that loneliness. So I cling to faith. I cling to hope. Remember, the most powerful thing we can do is to show up. Show up. Be there for that teenager, This is so important. It's worth repeating. Your presence is an incredibly powerful gift you can give your child, teenager, spouse. But, since I'm talking specifically about teenagers, Your presence is one of the most powerful gifts you can give them. Find ways to enter their world and spend time with them there. I've had to ask the Lord, show me ways, Lord. How do I enter their world? What does that look like? In every family and every teenager, it looks and sounds and feels different. We need to be available as we can. And sometimes my grief makes me unavailable. So we're all doing the best we can at times, aren't we? Find me the perfect parent and let me meet her, the perfect mom. Let me shake her hand. Listen well. I'm learning to listen well. I am so learning to listen well. Even the other day, for example, real quick, Hannah was talking to us, expressing her feelings about a certain subject that she was dealing with a friend at school, and right away I started to say it. My husband said, shh, shh, let her talk. So yeah, listen well and let them finish speaking, right, Melissa? Let her finish speaking. Don't interrogate them, and try not to push. That definitely shuts some teenagers down. We gotta earn their trust. Yeah, like we earn trust in all relationships. Our teenagers, when they turn teenagers, they are the different people that they were, that we raised. We're looking at them like, who are you? It's like an alien took over their bodies, kind of a thing. Even the foods they like are different than what they ate a couple years ago. The clothes they like, all of a sudden you think you knew your child's style, and bam, nope, you don't. And he doesn't like, or he or she don't like that color anymore, and they don't like that pattern on their wall, and they don't want this color carpet anymore, and they want new bed, they don't want this comforter on the bed, and I mean, the whole thing. It's like a whole transformation over from childhood to teenagers, early teens, preteens, and then when they become full-fledged, flat into high school, then you get a whole nother transformation changeover all over again. So yeah, so it's like that. So anyways, we're earning their trust through all of this. Right? Just like they are earning our trust. And sometimes they have broken our trust with some bad choices and bad behavior. And they are in the process of earning our trust back. And in grief, we earn their trust just by being there. We're trying to earn their trust, or their goal to want to earn their trust, to share their hearts with us and know their heart is safe with us. And as the trust in us increases, chances are they're going to grant us more access to their life and heart. They do, just like any other relationship. When we trust people well enough, we let them into more and more of our areas of our life, and we open up more and more to them. And yeah, this is an honor and a privilege. It is. I have learned to take every stage of parenting from birth to high school graduation as a privilege and an honor. Yeah. I've always wanted to be a mommy. And I enjoy being a mother. It's extremely challenging, and in grief, it's a whole new level of parenting. Don't treat it lightly. I definitely hear that warning within me quite a bit. Don't treat this lightly. Love them as best as I can as they experience this grief, loneliness. And just be aware that on many levels, I'm lonely too. I am lonely. And none of us is perfectly satisfied. And there are fantastic relationships, but no perfect ones, right? We're all human. Even in those terrific relationships, feel lonely at times. We long for our heavenly home, don't we, friends? We long for the perfection that our salvation will bring. We're so passionate for it that we passionately try to seek it here on earth. We're greatly disappointed. This world is not our home, is it, friends? We're travelers passing through, foreigners. Our citizenship is in heaven, right? And we are surrounded by a great cloud of witnesses. Feeling alone is, at times, it's natural and it's common for human beings, period. And I just got to own my loneliness. And I want to encourage you, like the Lord has been encouraging me, to also encourage my teenagers to seek healthy connections. Okay? And helping my teenagers do the same thing. Healthy connections, getting around safe people who inspire and encourage us, helping us to grow and adjust and heal in some areas of our emotions. Not people who are don't limit our exposure to those who are overly critical, abusive, or toxic, whether they're in your family or not. So that's a lot of what my husband and I are doing. We are limiting very much our exposure to people that are overly critical, abusive, and toxic. And we're encouraging and trying to direct our teenagers in the same way. The healthier we are, obviously, the more we can give away to the teenagers around us. So, health breeds health, right? Like I said in my last video, anger triggers anger. Sadness triggers sadness. Loneliness can trigger loneliness too. And so a lot of us are lonely. And then the grievers, we are like triply, doubly, quadruply lonelier. And our loneliness is just sitting on our shoulders. And so a lot of people don't want to be around us. Yeah. But in our household and as our family, and as we just keep loving each other where we are, as we are, we're going to bring each other back to health to some degree. Health breeds health. And of course, we try to give them the best possible versions of ourselves as possible. I think that's a lot of parents' goals, isn't it? We always want to give our best version of ourselves to our kids. And it can be so hard in teenage life to give them our best version because teenagers tend to bring out that feistiness within me, the saltiness. I'll be spicy sometimes with some teenagers. So yeah, we can walk with our teenagers though while they feel alone, friends. We can walk alongside them while they feel alone. So, well, this video went a little bit longer today. So thank you for hanging with me, friends. It's good to share my heart with you as always. Please feel free to leave me a comment or email me. I'd love to hear from you. Be blessed today and be well, and I will most certainly see you on my next video. Take care.